Everyone, welcome back to the NFA Review channel. We have a pretty cool firearm here on the channel today, the Springfield Armory M1A Tanker. Now, if you aren't familiar with the M1A, it is a civilian version of the M14 rifle. Main differences being this is not select fire and the receiver is cast instead of forged. The M1A made its first debut from Springfield Armory to the civilian market in 1974. And since then, there has been a ton of variants. And today, we're going to cover the Tanker, which in my opinion is one of the most beautiful looking models and also very handy considering its size. So let's go ahead and take an in-depth look here in the studio, and then we'll hit the range and see what it shoots like. First things first, the overall length of this rifle comes in at 37.25 inches. It has a weight of 8 pounds, 9 ounces. The barrel itself is 16.25 inches in length. It is carbon steel and it is a 1-in-11 twist rate. The aforementioned receiver, it is cast, and it is cast from 8620 alloy steel, and then the finish on the receiver and the barrel is a nice parkerized finish. Caliber, of course, is going to be .308 Winchester. As far as sights, it has a ghost ring rear sight with a .135 aperture size, and of course is adjustable for windage and elevation. Very large drums here. It is M1A, nice tactile and audible clicks here. So that's actually very welcomed. The front sight is a XS sight post with a tritium insert. Has a nice little white dot underneath it to help faster acquisition under recoil. Starting from the front, you have a nice ported muzzle brake here. Underneath, you'll see the gas plug. As far as maintenance on this, while we're on this, guys, it's actually very laid back maintenance on this firearm. Dived into the manual a little bit. They really don't want you to mess with it too much. You can, of course, remove the bolt and everything, but when it comes down to detail stripping the bolt itself, it specifically mentions specialized tools required to break it down all the way, and it states it is not necessary. So really, you're just going to want to lock the bolt back, run a couple brushes and patches through the bore, scrub off the big chunks of carbon, and go back to shooting. As far as the piston on the front, you have the plug here. So basically, I'm not going to do it here because it's going to bore you to death. But all you would do is remove this plug. Okay, they sell a tool, or you can use a socket. Remove that. It's threaded, and then you'll have the actual gas piston operated. You'll have the gas piston. Knock off the carbon chunks. Throw the sucker back in there. Put your gas plug back in, and you're done. It specifically states do not lubricate that section. So pretty simple. Minimal takedown, minimal lubrication, basically just send it. It is a battle rifle after all. This thing feels like a tank. Name is very fitting. As far as what you get, comes in a nice nylon case, has a pouch on the front to hold spare magazines, comes with a military reproduction field service manual, as well as their commercial manual, some decals, stuff like that, a patch, and one 10-round magazine. Now, I did take liberty to get some 20 rounders, so I have two 20 rounders at my disposal and a 10 rounder that it comes with. So 10 and 20. We're probably going to be running the 20 out at the range. It just looks better and has more pews, which is definitely going to be welcomed when slinging some .308 fireballs. Guess the elephant in the room here is this beautiful walnut stock and the fact that it looks like a SOCOM 16. So for a retail price of just over $2,000, I think it's $2,023, you're getting a walnut version, more classic stock SOCOM 16. Of course, you're not going to have the optic rail on top. That's been replaced with brown plastic. Pretty sure the only plastic on this entire firearm. And it just kind of resonated with me. It just looks better than the black plastic. Nothing wrong with the synthetic stocks, but there's just something substantial about that American walnut. And I think we can all agree here that the grain pattern on this specific one is downright beautiful. Now, while it looks like it is inspired by the SOCOM 16. It is in fact inspired by a prototype rifle. So just at the end of World War II, Springfield Armory developed a prototype codenamed T-26 Tanker. That's about all I know about it. I can assume that they were cutting down an M1 Garand, okay, which is what this is based off of, okay, this action series. I guess you could say this is the grandson of the M1 Garand. And, you know, banging around in a tank, they couldn't really use the longer front line barrel length versions, okay? They were much longer than 16 inches. So they were already developing a shorter M1 Garand codenamed T-26 Tanker. So, of course, it had a little bit more wieldability when confined to the inside of a tank. You know, mounting and all that stuff. You know, jumping out of the tank with your battle rifle was a lot easier if the barrel was shorter. So that is where this was inspired from, okay? Not an M1 Garand, it is an M1A. So they kind of just said, hey, let's take that rifle that was really never put in service and let's make something really cool and unique. As far as the manual of arms, pretty basic. Again, it is a battle rifle. As far as the safety, you'll have it has to be charged. Has a safety here at the front of the trigger guard. Gonna have to be careful with that, okay? It is on the inside of the trigger guard, so to take it off safe, you would put your finger in and push forward. Okay, you can also just, you know, you could use your offhand too to do it just the same. But just something to take note of. As far as insertion of the magazine, it's going to be AK type for those of you out there that are familiar. Put the front of the magazine in and rock into place. Okay, to charge it, bring your hand up under the weapon, bring it back, let go. I, of course, did not bring it all the way back because there is an empty mag in there and it does have last round bolt hold open. If you need to lock it back, you know, for safety reasons, it does have a bolt catch here on the left side, which is nice. So you can just, boom. Now, if you're at the range, you need to put this thing down on a table to show that it's empty. You're good to go. While we're looking at the top of the receiver, it does have a clip guide. So you can take clipped 308 ammo and slide it right in that sucker. Of course, the magazine has to be in, and they would actually load the magazine without taking it out of the firearm, which is pretty cool. Got dual feed lips on the barrel chamber there, of course, because this is a dual feed magazine, okay? Pretty basic stuff here. I just want to say that just handling it and manipulating it in person, this thing feels so substantial. And I love that about well, pretty much all of these battle rifles. The M1 Garand, actually shot my first deer with one, and of course the M1A and the M14 that this is based off of. Bolt head, rotating design, dual locking lugs, pretty basic stuff. On the left side, you'll have a threaded insert area that you can use to mount optics on top over the action. Of course, you won't be able to use your clip guide anymore. And then of course there is replacement top guards here where you can mount rails as well. And you got two sling mounts on the underside, and boy, I tell you, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a no frills, serious battle rifle. Just feels so freaking solid. Oh wait, there's more. You got a butt pad that lifts up, okay, and then underneath you just depress this and it opens, and then you have two holes here for a very compact GI style cleaning kit. And that has to be, so far, without shooting it, my only ding is that Springfield Armory did a basically, you know, hat tip to the prototype tanker, you know, of the World War II era, and then they didn't include a cleaning kit in here. So I checked the bag twice. It's not in the bag. It's not like one of those take it from the bag and put it in here type things. So I thought that was odd that they didn't just go ahead and include some cool GI style cleaning kit in the buttstock. But of course there's plenty out there you could source. I just thought that was kind of odd. So other than that, let's pack up a couple boxes of ammo courtesy of 2A Warehouse, because this is about to get really expensive and a lot of fun. This thing, I imagine, with the short barrel and those ports, is gonna throw one hell of a fireball. Let's go have some fun. Oh boy, All right, let's get this party started. So we made it out to the range. We have the M1A Tanker. I have a fully loaded 10-round mag and two 20-round mags, courtesy of 2A Warehouse. We're running, I believe it's Armcore 147 grain ball. So just your standard Plinken 308. At like, you know, $1 a round or whatever it is. So yeah, let's have some fun. So I have heard that these guns may or may not need a break-in. There is a lot of grease inside. I already looked. So I'm just gonna run this thing out of the box, just how it came from Springfield. So not gonna add any oil or anything. I have heard that the magazine release takes some getting used to with the 10-round mag. Of course, the skydivers are gonna go ahead and take off now that we're starting filming. Let's not forget our ear pro. And let's just plink, you know? Let's just get used to this thing. Get used to the weight and the sight picture. I'm wearing my lapel microphone, so it's going to sound a little different than what you're used to hearing when I do suppressor reviews. So I'm directing you, though. We don't really care what the gun sounds like, even though it's going to sound like Thor's hammer out here. So 10-round mag, insert, and rock. Yeah, the 10-round mag is a little finicky because you don't have much real estate here to grab and really manhandle that thing in there, especially when it's new. I have a feeling these are going to be a whole heck of a lot easier. But weapon is on safe. Man, that has a satisfying sound to it. Whew. All right, here we go. Fire in the hole. God, dog. Damn. Yeah, that mag is a little, this paddle release is a little stiff. The spring is very, very tight. Probably because you don't want this thing to fall out under recoil. Let's see if this is, oh yeah, the 20 rounder is just way easier to run. That is satisfying. Well, these sights are dead nuts on, even though it says in the manual that you need to sight it in. This thing's hitting dead center on the steel. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. Pretty sure they can hear this from space. Wow. If you haven't shot one of these guys, you really need to find someone that has one or arrange to rent it or just buy one, because there's something very substantial about this thing that an AR-10 just can't do. Hell yeah. Magazine release, still a little tight. Hopefully with a couple mag changes. Oh, that was way easier already. Things loosen up. All right, with this next one, let's see if I can just induce a malfunction. I'm just gonna dump this thing as fast as I can. I'm just gonna aim at the dirt, okay? I don't think I'm gonna hit steel with every shot. All right. Hell yes. Smoking up pretty good considering it's about 37 degrees outside. Mag release is still really tight. Let's see if I can bring, there you go. Put the weapon on safe and let it hang. All right, I always thought the over-the-shoulder view was pretty neat. As you can see the firearm and what I'm shooting at the same time. So let's go ahead and give that a run and just kind of get used to this trigger some more. I forgot to mention in the studio that the Tanker does have a 2-stage national match trigger, which is actually really nice. You can feel it stack up, hits a wall, and then you get a nice clean break. So let's, okay, we are ready to go. All right, partner, you know what time it is. Oh yeah, too easy. Shooting both eyes open. The aperture is just wide enough to get tight, accurate shots pretty quick. I mean, I'm not using optics here, and I'm just kind of just point shooting. Pull that one right. But yeah, I mean, quick shooting's not that hard with this thing. Mag release is pulling out a little easier now. I think we're breaking it in. Let's spice things up a bit. We're at like 40-ish yards now. Let's back up to 100 and see if I can get those same moving hits with the same ease with this aperture size. All right, well, while I was setting up, the rifle fell off that barrel there where I was getting my camera focus, and the left drum is just covered in weeds and dirt, and it's all kind of scratched now. And I gotta tell you, you just don't give a shit with this gun because it's a freaking battle rifle, right? So it's gonna be fine. Just knock off the shit. We're good to go. Let's see what our skills are here at 100. All right. All those targets look tiny. Hold it left. Hit. Hit. Now you gotta take a little bit more time on that trigger. If you do, you're rewarded. Wow. Hell yeah. All right, let's wrap things up here on the barrier. Kind of have some fun here and see how we do, just, you know, having some fun, playing around. So I have a 20 rounder in the gun and a 20 rounder in my back pocket. We're not going full tactical Timmy here. We just want to have some fun here. So let's just play around here and see how this thing does as far as sight picture and the barriers. Slipped off there. If you put that gas plug right on top of the barrier, you can actually push the stock into it. You can hold the box mag, and it's pretty stable, you know. Yeah, reloads, you're not going to win any awards here with reloading and, you know, stuff like that. Tactical Timmy stuff. Slow down. It's kind of addicting though, the recoil. Picture this as a truck gun. There's an active shooter running around, you grab and go this thing, using building supports and vehicle supports. Bro, you are gonna knock some bad guys down with this thing, with ease. Look like grandpa while you do it. And that's not a bad thing. Whew, boy, I hope this was as fun to watch as it was for me to shoot out here today. Huge shout out to 2A Warehouse for their ammo contribution. We went through 200 rounds of the Arms Corps 147 grain ball 308 Winchester. So 200 rounds of fun today. Ear protection, thank God, was provided by Axle, because this thing sounds like a freaking howitzer. I mean, it is a 16-inch barrel 308 with a freaking comp on the end. I'm sure those skydivers are still shitting their pants up there. So I am an affiliate with Axle still, of course. If anything you buy from the link in my description, I get a little kickback on the backside, and I use that to buy other supplies we need for the operating cost of the channel. So huge shout out to you guys out there that are using that. Wow, M1A Tanker. Let's see, let's get down to the technicals here. The paddle release did break in over time. That was welcomed. And another thing, just with the manual arms, just when I noticed using it, in the bottom of the magazine well, I noticed it instinctively. You want to rock this thing into place, you know, way up here. But the bottom metal, I guess you could call it, is actually set further back. You can actually see the little hook that inserts into this cutout in the magazine is actually inset a little ways. So instead of loading the mag here, bring it back a little bit, almost to the paddle, and then rock in. Way smoother there. So just things that you kind of figure out, you know, while you run and gun this thing. As far as malfunctions, absolutely zero. 200 rounds, zero malfunctions. I know it's not quite a torture test, but right out of the box, I did not grease it. It's got some sand and dirt in there from when it fell off the barrel earlier, and everything's hunky-dory. You do see some brass impacts here on the charging handle and the charging arm and the walnut stock, probably because what's happening is the rounds in midair ejecting, and that charging handle is coming back and it's hitting an empty and it's slamming it back down into itself and in the stock. I ran some slow motion. I'll go ahead and throw that up now. We'll take a look at it and see if that's what's happening. I think I only did 10 rounds in the slow-mo scene, so it might not have happened during that segment, but in any case, that really doesn't matter. It's just some brass impacts. Gives it some character. Safety, pretty stiff. I was trying to operate it as much as I could, but yeah, it fell off the barrel. It did impact the sight hood and the drum pretty hard. There's still some grass in it. Nothing moved. You know, everything's very solid on this thing. I mean, it feels like a freaking brick. And I have to say, being the brick that it is, I was still able to engage targets of a spread of about 45, 50 feet from full left to full right, maybe a little bit more, swinging and shooting. You know, at 45 yards earlier when we started, it's quite easy. When I moved it back to 100, I had to slow things down a little bit because that trigger, it is a two-stage trigger, but once you set in motion that you are going to shoot it, I mean, it fires off pretty quick. So you kind of have to slow yourself down because, you know, that sight blade almost obscures an entire half of that 2/3 size IDPA target at 100 yards. But I was getting some, you know, pull misses, you know, where I would just miss the steel by, you know, 2 or 3 inches. Being that that is a 2/3 size, you know, torso, that's still a human size hit at 100 yards, and I really wasn't taking my time. I'm just having fun out here, guys. So damn accurate and damn usable for 100 yards. I mean, I have a new truck coming in. The Tundra was actually pre-purchased by a Patreon member, which is awesome. So he's gonna be picking up my truck soon. My Ram TRX should be done. It has a build date of February 25th. I ordered it back in August, so it's finally going to be built, and I'm pretty sure this might be my truck gun. You know, I'm going to get a safe for it, you know, in the back seat area like I have now from locker down, and a console safe as well. Probably be doing a review for him, I imagine, again. But something about this thing just resonates with me. It is like a hell and back solid brick of just metal moving and just clicking and locking and opening and flying and just fire. It's just something primal. That's the word. It's just primal. It's a primal firearm that's really fun to shoot. You know, if you're going to be running competitions and stuff, of course, if you need 308 knockdown, which I don't know why you would in a competition, but AR-10 is probably going to serve you better. You know, just the reloading manual alarms part. But this thing sure is fun. It's a definite truck gun, definite camp gun. I would have no problem taking deer with this at all. I think it'd be really fun to walk the woods with one of these. And I just really like it. This is gonna stay in my collection. Yeah, this is not a seller. This one's staying, especially with that wood grain on this thing. You just don't get that anymore. It's just a nostalgic piece. And I hope those of you out there one day do get a chance to send some rounds through one of these, because they really are a firearm from yesteryear that is worth the time and effort to give it a shot. And that's what we did out here today on Antifa Review Channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Huge shout out to my members on Patreon. Again, we have 20 discounts now, and there are more coming. So you're gonna have, right now it's 20 bucks a month to be a gold member. There's 20 discounts, so basically $1 per discount a month, and some of them are half off silencers, 20% off silencers, firearms at just over cost, ammo, body armor, you name it. Take a look at the list. Don't take my word for it here. Head to patreon.com/NFA and then go to tiers and go to gold, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not stopping at 20. I want to get as many discounts for my gold members as I possibly can, because you guys do basically operate the NFA Review channel. So huge thank you to you guys, and a huge thank you for watching. If you like this video, you had fun out here today, click that like button, and just know that it pisses off the liberal every time you do it. And that's all that's needed for me. See you next time.